Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live, where we help you guys deal with the things you are dealing with by showing you that each person has had to deal with some things in their life. My background is, well, first of all, I'm Jeff Marconette Jr., the international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker, and my background is I was in a car wreck, spent 2.5 months in a coma and 3.5 in the hospital. And I just want to show other people that things are possible for them too. And tonight's guest is somebody that is going to show you that you always have new possibilities in your life. So, with no further ado, I would like to introduce Peggy. Hi, Peggy. How are you this
How are
evening?
you? I'm great. Thank
Uh,
you.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm doing fantastic as well. It's kind of hot here in Ohio. It's like 95 degrees out, it says on Google right now. And that's nuts because it's not normally that temperature here. But hey, whatever. I'll live with it and sweat my butt off for a couple days. But so if you would like to go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, and more importantly, why you do what you do.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Peggy Bell. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a speaker, international best-selling author, coach, and retired educator. I do what I do because I feel a calling to help people. And as a retired educator, that teaching, I think once a teacher, always a teacher. It's in your blood. And teaching to me, I was ready to retire. But after I retired, I realized there was more to do. And so I decided to be a coach, different audience, but it's still a way of teaching. And
Yeah,
I'm answering my call.
that is awesome. I definitely want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here tonight with.
That's my pleasure to be
I
here.
also forgot to mention, guys, that if you would please, please share this episode out. Let other people know that this is important and they need to be watching it. You can also give us hearts, thumbs up, smiley faces, cry faces, angry faces. It doesn't matter. Just give us something to help us trick the algorithm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. All right, with no further ado, we will go ahead and jump into the show. So, Peggy, I know from personal experience that on social media, we often see the highlight reel from somebody's life. We often see what is going right for them. So I have to ask, what showed you that there were more possibilities in your life, and ch- well, what gave you that adversity to teach you that there were more possibilities in life?
Well, the the catalyst to get it all going was when I became a widow right after my 50th birthday. Um, we thought we had everything in order. We thought life was going to be great in our golden years, and that didn't happen. And it made me realize just how short life is. It made me realize, in the grand scheme of things, you can't take any day for granted. Life is short and we need to make it count. And that's kind of become my mantra. I was still teaching and I had to finish my teaching career, but it changed my way of thinking. My problem was, though, that I had a closed mindset about so many things, and that came later on. But it was that obstacle, dealing with being a widow at still a relatively young age that made me open my eyes to not take things for granted anymore.
That is awesome. Now, may I? Well, all right. That's not awesome. That you became a widow, and I am very sorry to hear that.
I know what
But
you mean.
it's great that you learned these things once something bad had happened. Now, I often say that we don't just go through things, but we must grow through things. So, how did you grow in that process in order to figure out these future possibilities?
Well, I learned to say that I made got my message out of my mess, and my mess was having to be a widow and having to live life on my own. And I didn't want to take his death as being something that would always be something sad. I wanted to learn, I wanted it to be a cause for something. And so it's my way of honoring him to move forward. And that's when I decided, after I retired, and since, years had gone by and I had since remarried, that's when I wrote a book for widows because I wanted to help any widows that I could. And then I got into learning about coaching, and I got my coaching certification, and I stepped out of my comfort zone because I wanted to know what was out there. It was, if I don't do it now, when will I do it? And my biggest fear was public speaking. But that's the thing that I'm enjoying the most. And had I not stepped out of that comfort zone, I would have never been able to experience all that I'm doing now.
What was it about public speaking? I know it's a huge fear for people to publicly speak, but what exactly was it with the public speaking that scared you so bad?
Oh, I grew up, like I said before, I had a closed mindset. I thought, well, I was born shy. I was born with low self confidence, low self esteem. That's just the way I'm going to live my life. And I thought life was happy. It wasn't until I became a coach and I realized I'm going to be my first coaching client because I need to work on myself and my transformation. And it was learning all about limiting beliefs and setting boundaries, and having to address that inner critic that was so vocal in my life. It scared me. It scared me to pieces because I just was so shy all the while growing up. But it's, once I learned all these things through my transformation, it was like no amount of self critic is going to stop me. This is what I want to do. It's something, as much as it terrified me, and it's weird, I wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to be able to talk to people and inspire people about something. I didn't know what, but it scared me so much that I just always pushed it to the back burner. But
Yeah.
this time I said no, because life's too short to just push it away again.
Yeah, definitely too short. When I say make every second count, that's about life being so short and not taking things for granted. So
Absolutely.
I really respect what you said there. So I would like to say hi to from across the street right now. And then I also want to say hi to Adam, who is watching from the UK right now.
Well, hi, Adam.
And then I also want to say hi to Ben Bruce, who is watching from Nigeria right now, Lagos, Nigeria. He broke um, Facebook community standards. Yeah, I don't. He so he's banned from commenting now. It's kind of
Okay.
funny, but we hope you guys take things away from the show and are able to learn that you have more possibilities after anything that you have experienced in your life. Now, I also want to say hi to Brett Pelletier. I hope you made it home safe. He was on a flight today from Cincinnati, Ohio to Denver, Colorado. So I hope you made it back to Colorado, man. But I would like to ask Peggy, who are your favorite people to work with?
I've been working, I have a Facebook group that I have as a support group for widows. So I'm with them pretty often to, either do Facebook Lives or put posts in there to help them when they're going through struggles. But really, I'm trying to look at maybe going into businesses to help because now mental well-being is so um, important. We have so many stressors in our life, and we carry it into the workplace. And so
Yes.
I'm trying to see, if possibly I can get into putting on workshops to increase mental well-being, to improve the confidence and the motivation, to get them to not only be the best version of themselves at home, but the best version of themselves at work.
That is a great thing because that's something that I want to do too. I don't necessarily want to go into companies, but I want to go into schools and do that. Now, in fact, I have a journal which I'm going to take a minute here and give myself a plug, a shameless plug here. So, this is called Make Every Second Count, a 1,500-hour journal. And as you can see here, it's got some pages to it. It's a 9-week journal that is has room for you to write each and every day, and it gives you all kinds of prompts to help you think and help you relate things to your life. Now, I have a special gift for you guys. Now, if you go to my website, which is www.jeff, Marconette, Marconette, junior.com/journal, you can download the first 7 days of that journal for free. And then if you like it, you can purchase the journal there on that page. If you don't like it, don't worry, just throw it away. It's all good, but you can definitely grow from this. And I
Absolutely.
wrote it for kids, but I have since learned that it will help anyone with their mindset and developing goals in life. So I think it's a pretty good idea, pretty awesome book. So I would like to jump back into the show after my shameless plug there. But so if do you have any suggestions for other people that might be dealing with something? I mean, we had all kinds of people that lost family members, even close family members, to that nasty thing called COVID.
Yeah.
How can they get past that?
When I tried to, I'll tell you what didn't work and what did work. I tried to go back to work too soon, and after several weeks, it was like hitting a brick wall. My inner life battery just drained. I was running on empty, and I had to take a leave of absence from work to just go back home and take care of myself. I was so worried about my students and making sure they were taken care of and everybody else that I didn't take care of me. And so it's so important for self-care. You need to have that rest. You need to I read as much as I could about the circumstances. I journaled. I used affirmations to, show myself that I was going to pull through this. Like I mentioned before, seeing the message through my mess. That's what I had to learn. Okay, what message am I getting out of all of this? That seems awful, but if something good can come out of it, and that's what came out of mine, was being able to do what I do now and not just see his death as something that was just a bad thing. He would not have wanted that for me. And so if you've lost a loved one, I'm sure they wouldn't want that from you either. Try to find your message within your mess and move forward.
Exactly. So I want to show you guys a picture here. Now, this picture is, I understand it's probably not the best picture, and parental advisory is suggested on this, or parental, I don't know, but something parental. Just have your parents check this out too. Can you say that? So, in this picture, you see a house that is destroyed and some trees in the background that don't have leaves on them. And the family has lost everything and all their possessions, all their everything. And but see, when I show that picture to people, they often see what I just talked about. And they don't see the fact that the baby is still alive, the dad is still alive, the baby is still hungry, the dad, they obviously have family members that still care about them because he's talking on a cell phone. The sky is blue. The trees in the far background still have leaves, and the grass is green. The clouds are kind of neat. The dad still has hair. He's got more hair than me. But so I just wanted to show you that because she was talking about the message in her mess, and that's the message in that situation's mess. And each and every situation out there, it doesn't matter what it is, there's a message in that mess.
And who's to say, Jeff, that father, when they rebuild, things aren't going to be better than they were before. So you
That's
can't
very
always see
true.
that, that that's the end. You just look at what can be better. How can I
Thank,
make it better?
thank you for adding to that, because that's one of my favorite things to do with people, just to show them that there's a different way to look at things.
Right.
So, do you have any suggestions for, like, say somebody lost a lot, or somebody lost a job, lost all their money, their car, their house, everything's taken away from them. How can they move past certain things like that?
I think they need to first concentrate on what they still have, just kind of like what you showed in that picture. Not so much what you've lost. What do you have? And where can I start from what I have? And start visualizing what it is you want for yourself, journaling what it is you want for yourself. Research shows that all of that works, and it's what we put in our minds, the thoughts that we put in our minds, that's going to help us achieve rebuilding. If we put junk in our mind and negative thoughts, that's what's going to come out. But if you want to rebuild and you have that mindset that you can rebuild, then that's going to be your first step. Believing is your first step in anything you try to succeed in.
That's great advice. So, should people know what they want in circumstances of losing everything, or should they plan for what they're going to have in order to actually reach out and grab that stuff? Or how does that work?
At the beginning, I think you're kind of in shock, like this dad was, I'm sure, in the picture. Um, but you've got to, again, that self care where you've got to take time to just let yourself grieve, because that's a loss, and acknowledge that loss. but also acknowledge what it is you want to gain, where you want your life to go, and what route you want it to take. And like I said, I teach something called the Bell approach with the acronym BELL. B being believe, because when you believe that you can do something, there's no stopping you. And believing is changing your mindset and knowing that you can achieve it. And so the rest don't count. You won't be successful if you don't believe you can get there. And believing in yourself is the first part, I believe.
Yes, you have to believe in yourself. That is great advice. Advice that'll never get old because it's so true.
Yeah. And
Eh,
if you just think about what you have, what do I possess? What gifts do I have to be able to use to better my situation? Sometimes we don't even pull on those gifts because we take them for granted, but they really are gifts, and sometimes they will get us a lot farther than we can even imagine.
Yeah. After my wreck, when I was in the hospital, I had just come out of the coma, and I noticed that all kinds of things that people can do that I could no longer do.
Mhm.
And I'm not talking like sports because that stuff wasn't important at that time, but I'm talking like sitting up straight,
Right.
sitting in a wheelchair without a belt on because you can fall out. I'm talking holding your head up straight. I'm talking just talking in general, eating real food. That was all hard for me. And that's stuff that each and every person takes for granted. Because, well, I shouldn't say each and every person, but a lot of people take that stuff for granted because they haven't experienced not having that stuff. But let me tell you guys that your life can change in the blink of an eye. It can be one thing one day, and then a couple hours later, it can be something completely different. So be ready for that. Take nothing for granted because everything is precious. Every second that you get is precious in this life.
We have to have an attitude of gratitude, just don't take for granted being able to sit up in a chair or feed yourself. Not everybody can do that. That's blessings that have been given to us that we need to be grateful for. A lot of people say, what do I have to be grateful for if my life is a mess? Well, did you wake up this morning? Were you able to dress yourself? Some people can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to take a second here and tell you thank you again for taking the time out of your busy evening to be here with me.
It's been
And
my pleasure.
I'm going to go sit on my couch in front of the fan here because it is 94 degrees. It cooled down a little bit, but my AC isn't keeping up either. But
Not used to that.
oh well. Yeah, it's not. But guys, I want to say thank you so much for watching tonight. And oh, wait, one more thing, Peggy. Well, two more things. All right, you talked about a book. How can people get a hold of that book and what should they expect when they get that book?
The book is called Stuck to Unstoppable: Living Life with Power, Passion, and Purpose. And it's taking all of these things that I talk about, the Bell approach, and diving in a little bit deeper. It
All
has,
right, sorry to interrupt. I gotta point out one one thing here. Adam says Peggy Bell better than Taco Bell.
all right. Plus one for me. Thank you, Adam.
All right, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. So, anyway, it takes you through the Bell approach, starting with, like I said, believe, and then evolve, love yourself, live your purpose. And It's got a downloadable workbook. And so it takes you deeper into each chapter. So it's not just reading the book, but it's got action steps at the end of each chapter. And then if you download the workbook, then it takes you even farther. It's available on Amazon, but if you also go on my website, it's www.peggymBell.com. M like Mary, yes. And
Oh,
um, you'll see all of my books are there. You'll also see a free resource for self confidence. It's a free guide uh, for you. You can download that if you want. Uh, I forgot Confessions of a Self Doubter, I believe, is the name of the guide. And so, yeah, if you need anybody to speak at your groups, I'm available to speak for to give presentations or workshops. So just give me a holler. There's contact information in my website
all
also.
right, and that was the second part. I was going to ask for contact information.
Yeah,
So you jumped the gun on that, but I love it completely. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Everything can be found there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, guys, that's PeggyMBell.com, and go download her free self confidence workbook, and she also has a workbook with her book.
Yeah,
So definitely check all that stuff out. But I need each of you guys, including you, Peggy, to do me a favor this
sure.
week, next week, and for the rest of the year, and for the rest of your life after that. But I need you to make every second count. Why, you ask? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. Hey, you guys do me a favor. Oh, well, another favor. Join me back here next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where on this show we help you become the best you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everybody that tuned in.